Hey, hello, and a very warm welcome to yet another bite-sized marketing session with me, Miles from Miles Marketing. Now, as you can see, the title of this week's webinar is 3 Ways to Use AI, Artificial Intelligence, in your day-to-day marketing. Last week I mentioned that I was going to schedule a post about somebody that looked at my LinkedIn profile multiple times. Um, I subsequently went on to LinkedIn and saw that they had a new AI function. I know. I then used the AI function to generate a piece of content. I went on to the scheduling part of it, the little clock that I referred to last week to schedule the post. Then I thought, oh, I just want to change something. So I went back to the post and changed it. And then I pressed publish. Now, what I didn't realize is that even though I'd set the clock to when I wanted it to publish, when you go back off of it and you hit publish, it publishes it straight away. Little did I know. So there's a tip for you. It published it at completely the wrong time of the day and the wrong day. So in terms of getting enough engagement, right? So it fell flat on its face. However, an update about the person that has been looking at my profile. Like almost on a daily basis, I get a notification to say so and so and so and so has viewed your profile. So I thought I'd reach out to them and say, hey, why you look at me so much? And it turns out they came back to me and said that they were having problems with their LinkedIn account. And for some reason that they didn't go into, their account was constantly looking at other people's accounts and hence getting notified. So fingers crossed they get that sorted. But yeah, there's the mystery over. They weren't looking at me all the time. Oh. Right, let's get into this. 3 ways to use AI in your day-to-day marketing. Now, AI seems to be everywhere these days. Everywhere you look, there's AI popping up. And this is true. It's being integrated into lots of the things that we use on a daily basis. But let's talk first about the platforms that are available, because there is now a plethora of opportunities and platforms that you can use out there. The most common one talked about in the press is ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT has two main portals that you can use. There's the versions. There's the 3.5 version, which is completely free to users. And then there's the version 4, which you do have to pay a small amount. It's about $20 a month. But you do get advanced features from it. You get more creativity within it, and there's advanced reasoning built into it. So it's the latest version. It's the one where they update to the most recent version of this particular AI. Now, you are restricted when you pay, you get restricted to using 50 requests within a 3-hour period. But you definitely, as a regular user, you're not going to go close to using 50 within the 3-hour period. So that's the system that I currently use. There are other systems out there. You've got the Google system, which is called Bard, B-A-R-D, as in the Bard, Shakespeare sort of thing. And that is built into a number of different areas over the internet in terms of browsers and stuff. You've got other ones. There's Copy AI, there's Jasper, but you will know now that certainly ChatGPT has been integrated into lots of different other AI platforms. Okay, so sometimes you may notice that ChatGPT is powering the system that you're using. I'm just going to check actually that we are indeed live. I think we are. Yes, I can see my
AI.
way. I can see my lovely face there, and I can see that we do have people watching. So please, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat, and I'll do my very best to answer them live on air. So look, you pick your own platform. They're all pretty much of a muchness. It's about the one that you get on with the most. Let me start talking to you, though, about some key principles, because I've got to tell you that AI is really only as good as the input that you put into it. Okay, so the robots haven't sort of taken over altogether quite yet. There does need to be some human interaction into this. So what I would say to you is spend time structuring your scripts or your commands that you want to give AI. So if I was you, you can use AI to generate the scripts, that's bizarre, that you want to use, but you've got to think about the directions that you want to give or the instructions that you want to give AI. One of the most useful ones is to make sure that it's written in, British English, not the Americanized, the Z is the common one that sort of pops up when it populates in default, specialized with a Z, etc. So think about the instructions that you're giving it. We refer to them as scripts, and what you can do if you get quite proficient at it is, let's say that you use it to write blogs as an example, then you would write yourself a blog script. And then you copy and paste that in and just change some of the details so that you get some consistency in the output that you get from AI. The other thing to say as well is you do get it watermarked, right? So if you just copied and pasted from, let's use ChatGPT as an example, if you copy and pasted the information generated into a Word document, it does come with a grayed background, which obviously is not ideal when you want to be using it across platform. But how do you get rid of that? I hear you ask. Well, if you import copy and paste the information from ChatGPT into your notes function. I'm talking about using a Mac, of course, right? But I honestly, I don't know how you do it within Microsoft, because I don't use that platform. But certainly when you're on a Mac, you copy it into your notes, and then you copy it back out of your notes into Word, and that background disappears. Okay, I'm sure there's a fix out there for Microsoft as well. All right, just search the internet or ask AI how to do it. So those are a couple of sort of little pointers there. Now, there are a number of ways in which you can do things with AI, and I'm just going to sort of touch on them. So you can ask it to create something from scratch. Okay, so you just give it some instructions, and then it creates you something from nothing, from scratch, as it were. Okay, the caveat here is you always have to check what it's produced, all right, because it's only as good as the database that it's pulling from. And let's remember, it's pulling from the internet, right? So we know not everything on the internet is true, and it sometimes does give spurious information. So make sure that you check it. The second way in which you can do it, if you don't want to write it from scratch, is you write a rough outline, or you give examples of things that you want to include within it. Or as an example for you, if you are writing a blog and you asked it to write a blog on a particular subject, and you wanted it to refer to your own business as being a specialist in that particular subject, then you might sort of say, and at the end, include that Miles Marketing is a specialist within this area, and write some blah, 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 whatever you want to do, right? And it'll add that in. So you can do it from scratch, you can write a rough outline, or you can ask it to rewrite something that you've already written. So let's say you write a blog post longhand, or you write an email out longhand, an important one that you wanted to go everywhere. You can then ask the AI to rewrite it maybe in a more impactful way, or with a different slant on it, or to have a different sort of feel, or in an upbeat way, or whatever you want to do, you can ask it to rewrite it. And to be honest with you, I find this an extremely useful thing, and I use it most days. I write something, I then ask it to rewrite it within a certain way, and it always improves what I write. I mean, we can't all be excellent at everything, and certainly spelling and grammar is not my strong point. So I'm finding this a really useful tool. But we're 10 minutes in, Miles, and you still haven't given me the 3 ways that we can use AI in your day-to-day marketing. Well, let me tell you the first one. The first one is social media posts. Okay, this is one that I think you'd expect to be on here, but I've got a couple of different. I'm not just going to say to you you could use it to generate your social media posts. You can, but there's some specifics here. So the first thing you can do is if you don't know where to start with your social media posting, you can ask it to give you an outline plan, right? So, write me an outline plan for my social media across, LinkedIn and Instagram, right? As an example, give some details about your company, and it will pull up lots of different information. It will talk about the frequency, your content pillars, when to post, where to post, engagement strategy, content ideas. It really does pull all of the information that you need into one place. So you can ask it to create you an outline to your content plan. The more information you give it, the more detailed and bespoke that plan will be to you. The second thing you can do is use it to create the content for you to put on social media. So you can use it to write posts. You can either use a third-party software like ChatGPT, and what I'll tell you now is that it does pull on sort of things like emojis and that kind of stuff to put into your appropriate ones, obviously, into your posts. So you can use a third-party software, but as of a couple of weeks ago now, certainly on LinkedIn in beta, you've now got an AI function when it comes to post creation. So you can, and I think I spoke about this last week or the week before, you have to give it at least 30 words worth of instructions, and then it will generate a post on your behalf. I'm sort of in 2 minds as to whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll roll with it for now. So using it to actually create the content itself. The last one is you can use it to produce images. It's not now just about text. It's about images and video, right? There are, and I've got to say, in terms of the video quality these days, I don't think it's quite there yet. I know that it can produce, really good deep fakes of Tom Cruise, etc. But, having a virtual Miles, it's not going to be as good as the real thing, is it? Hey, Ben, I can see you there. Right. So, so use it to produce unique images for your posts, because I've talked about this before, but in terms of your SEO, and if you're creating blog posts and you're using stock images, especially stock images that are really commonly used, you will get marked down, if you like, in terms of your content, because you're using images that are all over the web. They're not unique. You can use AI to create absolutely unique images that match your particular post. Right, so that's the first one, social media posting. The second one, Miles, is content generation. So this is general content creation for your business. And I just wanted to touch on a couple of sort of ideas here. So now that AI is becoming ubiquitous, it's all the more important with your website specifically that you update it regularly and often. The way in which, we sort of talk about websites and SEO, and to try and sort of get you to understand it, is that the search engine will suggest the websites that have been updated most recently, right, within its search. If there's an option to show a website that hasn't been updated for 2 years and a website that gets updated every week, then it's going to pick the one that gets updated every week. There's lots of different parameters, I know, but adding content to your website on a regular basis is a really important tool, and it can be quite monotonous, right? Creating all this fresh content. So why don't you use AI to generate yourself a fresh bit of content? So maybe go back and look at your website and think, right, can I rewrite my copy on there and give it a bit more oomph? Or maybe your focus within your business has changed slightly. So, you can take a lump of text from your website and ask the AI to rewrite it, perhaps with a different focus. Yeah. So think about website copy. Think about your about us description, or about me, or whatever it may be. Think about rewriting that. Think about your LinkedIn profile and your description. Think about asking it to rewrite that. And, the whole point of AI is that it's, going to do the heavy lifting for you. So copy your current LinkedIn description, if you like, paste it into AI and ask it to rewrite it with, I don't know, more oomph, more words, more authority, whatever it may be. Blog posts, it can be really good at creating nice long form content, evergreen content as we call it. But again, make sure that you are reading it over and you're personalizing it. Although AI is very good these days, if you're well versed in it, you can tell that something's been written by AI. So make sure that you tailor it to your own particular style. Things like brochure copy. This can be really quite hard to do sometimes. I've seen loads of brochures where, people just use far too much text, and a brochure is meant to be a little sort of, it's meant to be the bait to sort of reel you in. People want to find out a bit more about you, but they don't need to find out everything about you, right? So you want to make things your messaging clear, and you want to give some calls to action to get them to actually contact you. So think about rewriting your brochure copy with far more impact. Frequently asked questions, right? So full disclosure, last night I went on to ChatGPT and I asked it to write an answer to a frequently asked question. I can't remember what the title was, to be fair, but it did it very, very quickly, and I read over it and it all sort of made sense. I made some slight alterations and I updated my frequently asked questions section on my website. Nice and simple, a new little bit of content, and when the bots crawl over my website, it'll see that I've updated a new piece of content. So a really nice way of being able to update your website with some useful information. Maybe thinking about email. So, we write a lot of emails every day, but, when maybe you're communicating things to staff, maybe, asking it to rewrite something. Maybe you've got a big proposal that you want to do and you want a really nice, impactful introductional email. Ask AI to help you write that. Okay. And remember what I said at the beginning, give it as much information as you possibly can, and it will really write you a very good email. I've seen some crackers out there. Especially when you ask, we're all adults, right? What I've seen that's really quite funny is you can write an email using loads of swear words, right, about certain people and certain things, and then you can ask AI to rewrite it in a manner that doesn't include the swear words. And actually, it's really quite funny. Anyway, I digress. Email headlines. So if you are doing email campaigns, sometimes the headlines can make all the difference between someone opening it and not. So again, asking AI to generate you some good, catchy headlines is a nice idea. When you're producing documents, it can actually pull a nice executive summary together for you. back in corporate land, you know, we'd produce very, very long documents, and it was a real skill to produce that one pager at the front, which was the executive summary. Well, now with AI, you can chuck the whole lot in there and ask it to write you a nice punchy executive summary. And things like reports, you know, I'm not going into sort of the analytical side here, but it can generate you reports. I mean, you can pump all the information in and it can push out something quite nice at the end. What I'm going to have to caveat this, right? I wanted to sort of give you 3 nice, simple ways that you can use AI in your day-to-day. AI is coming on leaps and bounds, right? There's loads of analytical tools, certainly within things like your CRM systems. They're coming on board. They're analyzing how your email campaigns are working, who's opening what. They're predicting open rates and stuff like that, all based on data. So there is a lot more that's going on with AI, but I don't really want to sort of focus on that today. I wanted to give you sort of 3 practical ways to use AI. Now, the last way in which I think you can use AI is coming up with marketing ideas for your business based within your budget, right? You know, a lot of the conversations that I have with people are around great ideas, but the business can't afford to do them. So, you know, asking AI to come up with some practical marketing ideas within a certain budget may give you some help. Maybe thinking about a functional sales funnel. Again, it'll produce you a nice little framework. Maybe you need some promotional ideas for your sector. Again, it'll give you a good framework. Maybe you need to ask it about the best way to sort of to spend your PPC advertising, your pay-per-click stuff. Maybe you need to know what the best keywords are within your sector. And again, I've got to give a shout out to a particular piece of software that I use called Writers Zen. That's Writers Zen. Check it out. Yes, you do have to pay for it, but again, it's a great platform again that uses AI. And you know, when it comes to technical SEO, this is a great platform to use to help you create more content for your website. Another thing that you can ask it is stuff like, you know, what do I need, or what are the things that I need for a trade show, as an example. So, you know, and again, analytics, you know, it can analyze your database. If you've got a large database of customers, you can start to sort of break things down and analyze their interactions with you. So, you know, I didn't want to focus too much on the data, but if you've got big data sets, then AI can help you plow through it. So there we go. Those are the 3 things that I think that you can think about using AI for in your day-to-day marketing. It doesn't look like we've got any other questions live to answer. If you have, get them in quick, because there's a little bit of a lag with the streaming software that I use. But I'll just do a little recap whilst anyone gets in any questions that they want. So tip number 1, or thing number 1, is use AI to help you with your social media posts. So you can use it to pull you up a framework and a strategy, but also it can actually write you the content, either natively within things like LinkedIn. There's now this beta AI function that will generate posts for you, or by asking softwares like ChatGPT to create these things for you. And what you can do is you can create quite a lot of content in advance, right? And you can load, I mean, depending on what system you use, you can load it on. So if you are on LinkedIn with the scheduling function, you could sit down for an hour at the beginning of the month. You could find yourself 2 posts per week, so that's 8 posts. You could get AI to generate you 8 different posts across different subjects, load them onto the system with a picture or a video, schedule them in, and away you go, right? You know, 8 posts across the month done within, I'm going to say, a couple of hours of your time. A very good way of getting yourself a good solid visibility on social media. All right, so maybe try that out. The second one is the content creation. Look, social media is content creation, but think about all of your other content. Think about things like your website, your collateral that you've got, your emails, your email marketing, the collation of reporting, your presentations that you do, everything that you need to sort of write, all right, or people need to read, can be made better by using AI. And the last thing is planning. You can use AI to plan your marketing. You can ask it to help you. But look, with all of this stuff, what I've got to bang on about is this. It's only as good as the input you put into it. If you don't give it really clear, detailed instructions, it's not going to give you really clear, detailed output that's specific to you. Okay, so that's all I've got today on 3 ways to use AI in your day-to-day marketing. Use it for social media, use it for your general content creation, and use it for your planning. There we go. Right. Well, we're getting towards the end of August. I know summer really hasn't happened yet, but let's hope for an Indian summer towards into September. There have been no more questions from our people watching live. As always, if you're watching on catch up, you can, where is it? There it is. It's reverse, isn't it? You can always WhatsApp me and ask me any question that you may have, and I will do my very best to answer it. And until next Tuesday at 12:30, ta-ta for now.